and good afternoon to everyone who's joined us. And here to talk about the web application design development program in a little bit more detail. My name is George McRedmond, and I'm the lead instructor and the program chairperson for this program. And that means that I oversee the program's curriculum and the day-to-day operations on it, but I'm also the instructor that teaches anywhere from about 90 to 95% of it for each class that we have. So the program is fairly new here at Hunter. We only really started using it in 2016, although that has been a kind of a concept prior to that. And I've been in Hunter Business School going on 15 years now. Prior to coming to Hunter Business School in 2007, I actually was a web developer for a Fortune 500 company for 10 years prior to that. So I have experience in the field, and then I joined Hunter under a different capacity as of 2007. And then when we started to institute this program, I kind of took the reins and became the lead instructor and the program chairperson. So this program is currently, as Ray said, offered in our Levittown campus, but it is actually a remote program at this point. So as he said, it doesn't really matter where you are in the vicinity of either school. It's going to be all remote for the time being. And it's a 900-hour program, which equates to around 7.5 months overall. So that was a model that we really wrestled with when we were kind of discussing how to build this program out, because in terms of other options that are out there, you have your self-taught option. And a lot of times people would say, well, can't I just learn that stuff online? Aren't there websites that can teach me web development or video series that I could watch on YouTube? And that's true to a certain degree. There's also these boot camp type programs, which say that they'll teach you all the skills needed to enter the field within like 8 weeks or 12 weeks. And then the other option, of course, is going to a 2 or 4 year college where you're going to have to take that web development curriculum along with a ton of others and get a full degree. So our program kind of lies somewhere in the middle. It's not a quick, short boot camp style curriculum, but it's also not quite as long and drawn out as a 2 or 4 year college. So this program focuses on teaching beginners the foundational aspects of becoming a web developer. And what is a web application? Because we heard a lot about that in the name of the program and in the video. So a web application is really any technological solution that a business or an individual can use to solve a problem. And its main thing is that it's based on the internet. So that could be as simple as a website, and it can be a complicated application or a simple application as well too. It can deal with e-commerce, which is the buying and selling of products and services through the internet, or it can deal with just marketing a company, marketing products and services through social media, getting a company to be ranked higher on search engines like Google and so on and so forth. All those fall under the blanket term of being a web application. And we teach how you would design those applications and develop them into becoming real solutions that companies can use. So the key component is that we're here to teach beginners, people who have no prior knowledge, and if you have a little bit of prior knowledge, that's okay, but we're not looking to go to an advanced level too quickly. When it comes to coding, people want to be able to build the coolest new applications right off of the ground floor. Now, if that were the case, we would be all coders at this point if it were that easy. But it does take a little bit of time to get used to the various types of languages that are out there that you can build the applications in, how you would design a website, different styles and different modern conventions that you need to follow. So one of the things that, what is found lacking in the boot camp style programs or self-taught is that you don't get the real world experience. So having an instructor that can tell you many different scenarios to apply your knowledge, asking questions in a live environment is really useful from what we've seen in the past experience. And just from hearing from even people who haven't been enrolled in the program, they really like the model of having not as long as a program that it's too long-winded, but better than just a boot camp or being self-taught. So I'm going to go into the next couple of slides that explain each of the individual components, but this is a day program and classes that you can see down at the bottom of that slide are from 8:50 a.m. in the morning until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And again, it's currently just within the day program at this point. So if we go on the next slide, I'll break down the components of the curriculum a little bit more. We really focus on 3 major areas with the curriculum that we had built out for this web application design and development program. And the first part, which is actually the part that we start with in the program, is called front-end design. So what is front end? Well, a front end developer is someone who focuses on structure, visual design, style, and creativity. So these developers help create what's called the user experience within a browser or a graphical interface. So these are people who actually design websites. They'll design an application. They may or may not work on the inner workings of the website or the application, but they're more about the design aesthetics. There's another component of this known as UI or UX, which stands for user interface and user experience. And that's all about making a website or an application usable, making sure everything can be read, can be accessed. It's not too hard to fumble around to try to figure out how to make it work. Making sure that it works on many different devices like desktop computers, laptops, tablets, mobile devices, making sure that it's going to be a similar experience from one device to the other. And these are some of the languages and the solutions that we focus on during this component of the course. We do teach how to code with HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and those are all languages that factor into standard website design. We also teach how to build websites and solutions from alternative sources rather than just simply coding. And that utilizes the main platform we talk about with that is a platform called WordPress. And that way you get a lot of experience from different approaches to see how it works out there in the real world. And again, some companies require you to code things from scratch. Other companies want things up and running a little bit quicker, and they're going to have you using a solution like WordPress to handle multiple clients and customers from there. Along the bottom, you can actually see a few examples of some actual student work. There are various projects throughout the curriculum, which you do along with me during a guided tutorial. And there are also some that you are kind of left to your own devices and given a deadline to complete as well, to see if you're really absorbing the material and applying it when needed. So the first two, I believe, are projects that students had done for various project curriculum based things. Like the one was to build a fictitious website for a company and make it as looking as best you can and employ different things. And the one on the far right is actually one of the students' personal portfolio pages. And I'll talk about that when we get into one of the later slides. But the front end design is all about the visual aspects of web development. If we can go to the next slide, we'll talk about another component we teach as well. So the other component that has to do with mostly the coding component side is the back-end development. So the back-end developer creates the brains and logics of the web application. So that's where they build in the features to the website, or they make the application do the calculating, do the processing, do the manipulation of the data. These people are also creative, but they're creative in a different way. It's not quite as a visual medium than front-end design, but it's still creative in the sense of making something do what you want it to do. And there's creativity in the code as well. But these type of developers tend to be a little bit more technical and organized when they code because they're dealing with databases and servers and various application programming interfaces. So most of the standard programming languages that you may or may not have heard about will focus on the back end. So we teach languages like Python, Java, MySQL, or sometimes referred to as MySQL, and PHP, among a few other ones as well that talk about the back end. Combining those two skill sets, we create what we call a full stack developer. When you get a job in this field, they typically only want you to focus on one or two skill sets until you start kind of branching out on your own and start doing more advanced things. Nobody ever uses every single language we've shown on these slides every single day. It's mostly more of a refined skill, but by training you in various aspects of development, it does make you a more well-rounded candidate for any type of job that's out there. And face it, every type of job, any type of industry can use a web developer, whether it's just to simply put information about their company out there on the internet or social media, or building an application that services their business. Any type of company, like the video said, from agriculture to sports to entertainment to finance to marketing, there's a million of them that are out there that can utilize a web developer. So with both the front end and the back end, we create very well-rounded candidates for jobs that have a good foundation, that the job will allow them to refine their skill set and focus on only a particular part of the development thing. So let's move on to the next slide, which we talk about sort of a newer aspect that we built into the program over the last few years. So we react to the industry And we have a lot of close partnerships with, at this point, with the curriculum being here for about 6 years, we've formed a lot of partnerships and bonds with a lot of local companies. So, we listen to their criticisms of our candidates and the things that they've seen that they liked about them as well. And we've adjusted our curriculum to match the industry that the students are going to be a part of. And one of the things that we saw is that there's a lot of things related to marketing and e-commerce, and this thing that's listed here as SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, that factor into any web developer. And it's kind of a new hat that a lot of developers are starting to use. So it used to be more of a split separate thing, but with companies wanting to really focus skill sets and have very defined departments, developers are also involved today with marketing and developing different things related to social media and various other aspects of it as well. So this is something we've incorporated into our curriculum. So email content factors into that, data analyzation, content creation. For a company that's going to sell products and services, you need to keep marketing those things, and getting those companies and those applications ranked higher on things like Google and the App Store and things like that. Are all things that are important for at least a developer to be aware of, so that when they build their side of the application, they're doing the right thing. And in a large company where they have various departments that do these things separately, they all have to be working together in order for it to work out. So having a broad range of what each component does, even though one may not be your cup of tea or may not be your major focus, makes you a much more viable candidate for a job than someone who only focuses strictly on front-end design or only focuses on the back-end design. So we react to what companies do. Many companies in Long Island area and even the tri-state area in general have hired our students. So we listen to their feedback. We have an advisory board that meets every year, where we listen to past graduates and what they're doing in the field, current students and their questions and concerns, and different companies that we've worked with in order to kind of get a sense for whether we want to keep the curriculum as it is or to modify it. So the next component we have in this open house is we actually have a couple of testimonial videos from some of our past graduates. We have a graduate from 2020, basically right before the pandemic hit. And we also have a graduate in the second video who is a student that did learn through the remote aspect of it. And they're going to give you a little bit of a rundown of what their experience was like, and what they felt they got out of the program. So I'll return when the videos are done.
Hi, my name is Amit Singh. I'm a graduate of Hunter Business School's Web Application Design Development program. I've always had an interest in technologies and a desire to learn how to code, but I thought that maybe the time had passed me by. I ended up Googling some schools near me that were offering coding programs that weren't a four-year school, and I came and I found Hunter. What set Hunter apart from other schools was the length of the program and the topics that they covered. They went from coding in multiple languages to SEO to website design. And once I met with the Career Services Department, I knew that this was going to be the home for me. The instructors are incredible. What they taught as far as the fundamentals of programming and design are unparalleled to any other school. They helped me get a job, and now I'm a full-time web developer for a leading advertising agency on Long Island. Thank you, Hunter.
How's it going, guys? My name is Vincent Nicolo. I'm here today to talk to you guys about my experience at Hunter Business School and where it's taken me, how it's helped me, and just my experience during my time here. Right now, I am a web developer and social media specialist for Hosio Programming, an advertising agency. George has done a really good job giving me the foundation I needed to really jumpstart my professional career in this field. If you're interested in taking the class, one thing's for sure, you really got to be a hard worker. You really got to be determined. George is going to do whatever he takes. He's going to go above and beyond for you, but ultimately, you really need to work hard and use your resources while you're here. If you do that, you're really going to excel, and you're going to be just fine once you get to your externship site. I'm forever thankful of everybody at Hunter. This is where I wanted to be. I knew where this was going to take me in my career. It's going to set me up great for my job, and that's exactly what they did. They did not fail to disappoint. Anything you need, anything you're struggling in, anything at all, they're here to help. And it was really important for me because my class was online only because of COVID. So that even put another layer of pressure on all of us because I didn't really have an outlet. It was me and the webcam for however many months the class was. And it gets stressful at times, but they're there every step of the way. You're here for the right reasons. They're here for you. I wish you guys good luck. I hope you guys have just as much success as I did, and I hope you enjoy your stay while you're at Hunter Business School.